a lot of money because they're making so much money. And so it's a hard one. 1 year, and I was in the Senate, you know, I think one EDC company paid over, close to 100 million in taxes. It was very high. And it was very high.
Even though the percentage was
low, but that's how much money that was generated. So, you know, it's a difficult
balancing act.
Very difficult. And a lot of us understand it. But since we started down the road to attract businesses with this EDC program, the people now could watch it and say, well, if you give him that benefit and you don't give me that benefit, I'm not coming to your territory. I go into Puerto Rico. And we're competing against Puerto Rico and other places. So, okay, thank you, Anval.
Good morning, caller. You're on Beyond Politics.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Senator, good morning.
Morning, how you doing, Mr. Miller?
Fine, and you?
I'm great.
Following your conversation with the EDC.
Sure.
And you're saying, well, look, you imagine how much money they make at 100 million from 5%, right?
5 or 10, I forgot. I mean, yeah, it was a percentage. Yeah.
Imagine how much more we'd get if we understand our economic situation and change the percentage.
Yeah, the thing is, what's attractive, Mr. Miller?
Yeah, you bring them in first.
Yeah.
Over a period of years,
you could graduate.
You graduate.
And we're looking at that. And let me say this to you.
And don't make the period a year too far so that we can benefit.
Right, I agree.
And possible in the relationship with the corporate citizens.
That came in a town meeting too with a lot of the businesses from St. Thomas who said that.
Senator.
Well, I'll tell you, you have, you know what? Okay.
You're talking about making the right decision.
Let me explain to you how the process.
How hard it is for you or the private corporate citizens.
No, let me say this to you.
Understand it all. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Legislation comes along. And one of the things that the deliberative process allow is that different interests. You have a strong business sector group that don't want the EDC law change.
Of course, that's their position.
And
because there's less money coming out of it.
Right, and so those of us who want to change it, they're strong opposition. Just let's leave it there.
And the senator is saying they have influence, okay? He's being polite to his colleagues, but I'm going to take a little bit.
Let me put even more common. They got money.
It ain't just the money, it's how they spend it.
What? That's what I'm saying.
And you know, and so those of us who, listen, let me say it this way.
What we're saying, Senator, and again, when you talk about this beautiful deliberative body that you have, that is the legislature.
Yeah.
What we are seeing, Senator, is that you, the leaders, or if you want to say leaders, I say elected officials, do is you cater more to them than to the people. No. You mentioned about...
Why would you say that?
Let me I'm going to say no.
Why?
You mentioned about the legislature having the right to keep order if people don't follow the decorum of the legislature, correct?
Sure.
So then we have seen in our legislature where when we follow the deliberative process by coming to the legislature and saying, as a Virgin Islander, here is our concern in the matter, for example, for Hovensa or Hess, for example.
Yes.
We have seen where if we do not capitulate and agree with Hovensa at times when we do come to testify, the very Hovensa in their dealing with the deliberative process get up and walk out, and you leave them to allow them to walk out and disrespect the deliberative process and the people who is trying to use the legislature to do what you're saying, bring about democracy and justice for not just the corporate citizens, but all.
That never happened in my tenure, and I'll tell you one thing.
But it happened, though.
Maybe, but let me just say this. Different leaders have different types of mechanisms. Let me say this to you, Mr. Miller. One thing that I could say for the senators that's serving with me right now, they show me respect. They show each other respect. They get emotional. Nothing wrong with that. And I understand that. And it's a tough decision. And you understand that. But some senators have been warned. We ain't sanctioned. They were sanctioned in 28. We had sanctions there. We have disciplined people. And we run a tight ship. I'll tell you, they follow the rules. Now, they'll go on the radio and twist a lot of stuff. But the reality of this legislature, is that we follow rules, we have structure, and we have demonstrated that we could make difficult and tough decisions where we disagree. We disagree with the administration on many things. We disagree among ourselves. This hotel bill right now, I'm going to name it for you. Big disagreement, okay? We had big debate, and we have had major debate on some of the issues. And if people following it, you will find that people disagree very strongly. But one thing we have is order, we have structure, we got rules, and to date, the senators have been following the rules.
Allow the rules to apply to the corporations and when it's...
No, when nobody come in the legislature walk out and nobody while I was there.
Let me say this why, so that I could hang up and somebody else come on.
Yeah.
I applaud your position or attempt to move the constitutional document.
Thank you.
And well, the reason I say that is because we need it to move, to get some kind of solution. Not some kind, but a solution. Make it move so that we could implement it and do what we have to do. Because we have to understand, some of us in this territory still want self-determination,
right,
which is our right.
Right.
Now, my question to you is, have you, as a legislator, ever looked at the similarity to Guam and their constitutional efforts in reference to the very same United States was saying, well, we have to meet their criterion and as a colony?
Absolutely.
Have you been monitoring Guam's situation?
Yeah. Guam has its own difficulties.
But it's similar.
Quite similar because we're using the same law.
Right.
But let me say this to you, okay? And I don't want to sound like a separatist, but on this issue, Puerto Rico different, Guam different, and we different. We got to do our thing.
I hear you clearly.
Okay, so meaning I ain't following nobody.
I'm looking at the similarity.
I got you.
Of what
No,
they're doing.
yeah, they had their own
attempt to follow the rules of the United States, and in many decades now of doing it, and the United States have been, in my opinion, leaving them out dangling, so to speak.
And let me say this to you.
It, you know?
Yeah, listen to me.
That's what I'm asking. Have you followed?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. You see, I'll tell you. There's one. I had an opportunity to testify before Congress and the CFO. Okay. And if you go up in an environment where you're with equals or you have people who represent a lot more people, there's a certain way you approach it. First of all, if you have a degree of confidence and security in yourself as who you are, people could sense that. You ain't afraid nobody. You could talk plain. You could use your language. I speak inclusion, but I speak in plain. And if you have...
And you got good accent, so make sure to hear it when...
Well, everybody will hear it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. The second thing is you have to be prepared. You ain't an island unto yourself. You don't have all of everything. You study, you plan, and you go up prepared. And the third thing is you have to understand your role and your relationship. When I went up to speak for the CFO, for example, I had a prepared speech. But when I sized up the situation, I realized that it was a little more relaxed and they wanted to ask specific questions. I could have read my speech, but no. I said, we talk. And we talk. And they appreciate that.
You submitted the speech?
The speech, of course it was submitted. Okay? But the point I'm getting to is that experience teaches wisdom.
Right.
And sometimes the experience that you use to get something done has to be divorced from emotion somewhat. It has to have a sense of confidence with it, and you have to go up ready. And my view of the Constitution that went up is that I wasn't ready. And I had my view of it, and the reason why they could then send it back is they weren't ready. And you know, I troubled by that, but I can get past that. My view is that when we go up to ask for something with Congress, be ready. When I went to the CSG conference recently to get a proposal that they know nothing about from what we are coping with the LIAC, I had to make a presentation. And I had to get Puerto Rico to join. It worked. I didn't go up with an attitude, but I went up with a legitimate issue as a member that they could adapt. And then when they read it, and Carol Buck, they're up in Chicago now, and we brief her, she sit down with me, we talk, I throw questions to her, I said this is, and she ready. Because you know she get the resolution passed, and she'll get it passed in this thing today. And then when we have those two resolutions, we need to then go to another level, and you have to know how to do it. And part of what we have to do as a territory is be confident in our relationship, confident that what we put in forth makes sense. And if we go with a constitution, we must go, and I think it's imperative on the territory to adopt a position regarding energy, regarding customs, and regarding the medical and environment issues that created here that we don't control. So how are we going to be a colony? And you control everything, and we suffering from all these things, and you ain't got no input in it. And we then sitting down and saying, well, it's all right. No. There's a way we have to go up and say, okay, here is our constitution. But as part of our constitution and as part of the economy we have right now, the cost of living is this high. The federal government gives a cost of living allowance for this. But why you don't give everybody in the territory a cost of living allowance by paying the LIAC? Suppose somebody want, that's how you do it.
But Senator, we have an insular department, right?
Yes.
And they don't, you're telling me that they are not cognizant of what's going on here in the territory.
I moving forward.
I understand what you're saying.
Me going and me relying on a man. Insular department, interior, I have a position that I'm very privileged to be in and honorable, and I believe I could advocate for the people of this territory, just like what I tell you.
And the efforts, especially when it comes to the LIAC. So thanks for the time.
Thank you.
And you know, let's continue to make this process move. You know, don't stall it no more. And,
no.
Whether the people that vote on it or not is the people's wish.
Exactly.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah, and let me say, Hugh and Roy, I could wait because I talking a lot, but I'm a little passionate about the Constitution. And I'm also passionate about the way how we interact with those in Congress. And I believe that my training and especially my experiences in a lot of ways in negotiating things and in having gives us with other senators and with some of the delegates of the Constitution a good group of people to advocate for this territory the way we should. No, we just got to come together. We need to fight each other. We need to say, unify. Unified, we can work better. The thing that what we're facing now is people don't want to unify. The senators, them, no, unify. Go ahead, you.
I believe that the document we have is a good document. And like you say, if they have some things that you could insert, like the WAPA and these other, our custom and all that stuff, it's good, you know, but we all got to remember that history is a basis for where we're going. And when people are going to try to call and say, and they ain't read the history, because the truth of the history is what happened in the past to bring us to this Constitution. And they need to go back and read it and see how we got here.
Okay, well, let me get some callers in before.
Caller in here. Caller, you've been waiting a long time. So
I don't think you have them on, right? I don't think you have them on.
Even though the music is playing, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Wrap it up. The music playing in the background, but we didn't want to leave you out. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Senate President.
Yeah, talk to me.
Yeah, why call you for, right?
Tell me.
Because me ain't waste the time burning no gas and the Constitution because I don't know. It's a big loophole with another problem.
Well, you're dealing with the finances.
Well, I want to ask you one question.
What?
You have colleagues, say your colleagues don't work with you, right? And you colleagues them hitting you in your back, like Johnny is. You follow a good friend.
Yeah.
You follow big no because.
No, we followed. And let me answer you before. Okay, let me talk to you.
Wait.
Let me go because I'm going to answer you.
The music playing. Make your point.
Yes. Hello.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to tell me plain out. Are you honest and believe? Like, I ain't saying you alone. To don't have the government.